Hello everyone, this video is going to be a pros and cons on my 511 Tactical Skyweight Survival Chest Pack. This is the smaller, lower cost version. There's a more deluxe version, but I specifically wanted this one for the simplistic nature. It only has one main pouch, which I wanted, but it does have a little hidden Velcro compartment here. So there's actually, I would call it, two pockets, and then it has the molly on the front, which I specifically wanted because I had in mind to put my SE knife, the Azula. This is the original one. I paracord wrapped the handle. I wanted to put that on the front, and then I've got a Streamlight flashlight here, really small and thin one. The material here is pretty durable. I practiced pulling here to pull the knife out, so just to yank it out, even though probably want to push on the plastic instead of putting all the tension on the material, but it does seem pretty durable. So one of the pros is that it is simple and it is well built so far. I've only used it for a month, but I have practiced using the draw tabs. So these quick pull tabs, there's one on each side. I typically only run this side, and I kind of do it like a cross draw is what I guess I would call it, or a cross pull. So when you go to expose the firearm, you want to pull real hard out and kind of down. So kind of like a mailbox, I would say. So if you don't do it right, it won't expose enough of the firearm. It'll be hard to pull it out and it'll get caught in the material. So it does take a little bit of practice. So I do wear it in the living room while I have my firearm unloaded, and I do practice with it to make sure that if I do need to use it, that I do use enough force and I do it at the right angle so it becomes kind of a muscle memory. I did learn in the process that it can get stuck in there, so if you don't really get a good pull, you have the firearm here and you try to pull it out, it can get caught in the material here on the inside. Down here it'll get caught, or you can get the front sight caught in these little magazine holders, I guess is what their intended use for. Is you could put other stuff in there. So it's big enough for most firearms, but that's kind of a problem too because it'll move around. So if it was more universal for, say, like a compact or subcompact or whatever, so they had the dimensions that it didn't have as much wiggle room, and that you couldn't have this snag factor on either the material or the magazine holder. Now another thing that I found out when I practice is I like to have the magazine right in the middle. So you want to grab the firearm out first, so you undo with your quick pull tabs, exposes the firearm, you can pull the firearm. Well, these are only 10 round magazines, so if you had to get the second magazine out, you have to use your left hand. Now I did notice that it will stay in there really good and it will flop forward, and the magazine will just stay in there so it doesn't go all the way forward and fall out. So I didn't have any issues with that. The only issue was it snagging on the material or the magazine holder. Now, it does serve its purpose. It is small, which limits what you can put in it, but that's what I wanted, because if you put a whole bunch of weight on it, then it tends to lean forward. So the straps here on the ones that go over your head, these don't come off. The side ones, these ones do come off. So they have this easy quick detach clip on each side. So I take one off, put it over my head, and then put the other one on. The issue with that is that I have it so tight here now on the neck that it gets harder to put this piece with the fixed ones over your head. And the more weight that you're going to put in here, the higher you're going to want to tighten these straps, because then it'll just going to droop down on your chest. So I do have my much heavier P01. So these are bigger magazines. They're metal magazines. It's an all metal gun. I have a flashlight. This is ideally what I'm going to carry inside here. I was just using the smaller firearm to test it out, but I have used the heavier one as well, and I have used my SIG 229. That's a no-go on the 229. This is kind of pushing it. So the weight in here is so much greater that it makes it droop forward. And then if you have the spare magazines, I typically only carry one, but if you had two, that'd be a pretty heavy package. Now it'd be manageable, but it will droop down, which will make you want to tighten these or these ones on the top really tight, so to avoid the droop, or else you're going to be pushing it up on your chest. So that's kind of one of the cons, is there's no way to get it to not do that. The more weight you're going to put in it, it's naturally going to do that. And the only way to offset that is to make it tighter on the top straps. But it does work for my intended use. But what's weird about it is when you use it with a backpack, it helps it to sit up better. So another great thing about this is it works perfectly well with a backpack. So you have your Camelback that has your water in it, and then you have this for your easily accessible firearm, your knife, your flashlight. You also can have, this is actually, I believe, for a tourniquet. So this is a really good survival / outdoor utility chest rig. So it serves its purpose. It wasn't very expensive. I did buy it on sale, so it was under $40, and you do have to pay more for the camo, so it will be cheaper if you just get one of the solid colors. So for the price and what use I'm going to get out of it, I think it's great. It also can be used as a pass-through. So if you want to put this on your pants belt, you want to put it on your backpack, you want to put it on your war belt, you can use it that way as well. You can undo these top straps and just leave the plastic clips flapping and then take these off. So it'll just be this package here with the little clips. So it can get smaller and you can use it multitude of different ways. But as the chest pack, I really like it. Even though it would be nicer to have a little bit different design here. I don't need all these different magazine holders on here. It'd be nice to have a little bit smaller footprint here, and then have maybe a second pouch in the front where the molly is, so like right here, so you can zip it open and put like your phone and your wallet right there, instead of here in the like little Velcro pouch. But overall, for the price, it's not bad, but the lack of adjustability, it may drive you crazy, and you may constantly be messing with it, moving it up and down on your chest. But for me, I've used it with a backpack mostly, and then practicing using the drawing without the backpack. You definitely feel the drooping, especially when you use a heavy firearm like this. But these size firearms, so like a 3.5-inch firearm, that's a polymer gun, so like a CZ-P10, one of the Smith & Wesson Shields or the Bodyguards, one of the smaller polymer guns, I think that's what it's most apt to use for. Definitely not like, wouldn't rule out a revolver, but you know what, then, you know, that's not really going to work with the revolver moon clip things or whatever. So definitely, I think it has a good range of use, but not for all firearm types. And the size is kind of like a universal one-fits-all, which you may or may not like. I'm okay with it because of the cost, but I don't use it enough for it to, you know, make a difference. I only use it every now and then. But if I were to use this as an everyday carry and replace my shoulder strap bag, it would have to be more comfortable to wear. Like there would have to be a different way to attach it, like crossbody or something like that, like the way that they have like the third strap. But what you get for the price you pay, I think the quality is acceptable. And if you like stuff like this, it's a good accessory to have, especially because you can use it a multitude of ways. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.